Hey tribe, how are you? I'm really excited to share this cookie recipe with you guys. Obviously you can see behind me, it is Christmas time. You do not have to use this awesome cream cheese cookie recipe during Christmas. You can use it any time of the year. It's just the only cookie that I make in my family just because it has a deep-seated tradition in my family. And so I'm showing you how I've made this traditional cream cheese cookie recipe keto friendly. So if you've been around the channel for any amount of time, you know that my family eats carnivore and ketovore for my kids. But you know what? We can't throw away, I just can't throw away all of those Christmas traditions of making cookies with my kids. So I've narrowed it down to our very favorite cookie recipe, and it is cream cheese sugar cookies from my mother's 40-year-old recipe that she got in her high school cooking class. So I've adjusted it, changed some proportions of things, and then substituted some keto-friendly sugars and some pesticide-free organic, non-GMO organic flour into this recipe. And I really hope that this recipe blesses your family in any way that you need it. So before we jump right into this recipe, you can do it along with us. My daughter and I, we did it together. I just wanted to let you guys know some of the ingredients that I'm going to be using. All right, so some of the ingredients I'm going to be using to make this a keto-friendly recipe is, first of all, my sugar substitute for regular sugar. I'm using xylitol, which is a keto-friendly sugar. Just a side note, if you are not used to using xylitol or erythritol, you could get diarrhea from it. And so you need to be careful consuming large amounts of xylitol or erythritol. You may have a bathroom situation the next day or in a few hours. Our family personally has no problem digesting xylitol or erythritol. We hardly ever do. We only use it for like birthdays and holidays. But this is how I am making this traditional recipe for cream cheese sugar cookies keto friendly, is by using xylitol. Technically, flour is not keto friendly. Usually a keto friendly recipe would have like coconut flour or almond flour. I think they all taste gross in recipes. And so I found an 100% organic, non-GMO, pesticide-free from a small family farm in Italy. And so I got it from Amazon. I'll link everything that I use below for you guys. But since I've gone carnivore, I cannot eat any breads, pizzas, pasta, like nothing that has American flour in it. I feel like I'm going to die, like have diverticulitis, and I have terrible cramping and bloating. I have found that I can consume this flour and have zero issues. I never plan on leaving carnivore, but for this particular family tradition, I know that I can consume this flour and I will be fine. So if you have a gluten allergy, or whatever you have sensitivity to grain, because this is a pesticide-free, organic, non-GMO flour, the reviews are in the thousands online that a lot of people have no issues consuming this particular flour, even though they may have a sensitivity. Also in this recipe, I am using 1 block of cream cheese. And so Philadelphia, to my understanding and my research, is the cleanest brand of cream cheese that I can find in my local area. So I definitely suggest using Philadelphia. Also, a very small amount of vanilla extract and almond extract. Obviously, these are not organic brands. This is just what I have on hand, so don't judge. But you're gonna be using a tiny bit of each in this recipe. And then finally, we are going to ice these cookies. My husband and I love them plain. They're not super sweet at all. They're super duper moist. Once you go cream cheese sugar cookies, in my opinion, you can never go back. But they do taste really good with powdered sugar. Obviously, I'm not using powdered sugar. I'm using Confectioners erythritol. And then I also have some leftover of the sugar-free monk fruit powdered sugar with erythritol as well. And we just do a very thin layer. So I will take this in a cup and put some heavy whipping cream or some half and half in a cup, whip it up until it's really liquidy. And then the kids like color, so I'm using the Watson's all natural food coloring. It doesn't have those crazy dyes in it. It's 100% natural coloring from like vegetables and minerals and things like that to color it. So again, I'll have this linked below. So yes, I'll have all of this stuff linked below if you want to purchase them from Amazon or wherever. So let's get right into this recipe, and I hope it blesses your family.
The first thing you're going to want to do is get a mixer. You can use a hand mixer or you can use a stand mixer like me. We're going to put 2 sticks of butter. I am using salted Kerrygold butter. I love salted butter in all of my baking. I just think it makes everything taste better. Then you're going to add your block of cream cheese. And next, you are going to add your xylitol or whatever keto granular sugar of your choice into your mixture. Again, we are baking with a 10-year-old here, and things are not going to be very exact, but they still taste delicious. You're going to add some high-quality salt. I'm using Redmond salt. You're going to add in a half a teaspoon of vanilla and a half a teaspoon of your almond extract in there. Again, nothing is really exact here. When you're with a 10-year-old, she tasted that almond extract and it was disgusting. So yeah, you should definitely not do that. Turn on your mixture and you're going to beat that butter, that sugar, those extracts until well incorporated. Once it's incorporated, lift it up. It's going to be very thick and heavy. You're going to want to take 1 egg and only put the yolk in the egg. So I'm separating the whites from the yolk and just add that in. And then go ahead and beat your mixture a little bit more until it's all mixed in. It's going to be very thick and very sticky. At that point, you're going to want to pull out your flour of choice. And I have a leftover bag here. And then open your new bag. And you're going to do 2 even scoops, 2 cups of your flour. At that point, you're going to want to mix it all together on low. You could also just put 1 cup of flour in, mix it a little bit, and then put your second cup in, whatever works for you. Mix it up. It's going to be very thick. From that point, you're going to want to scrape your beater off and scrape your bowl and be ready for a child that's going to want to lick the beater. It is really, really good dough. Next, you're going to want to take some plastic wrap, scoop your dough into that plastic wrap and wrap it up really, really tightly. And you're going to be refrigerating this dough for a minimum of 2 hours, or you can save it for another day and bring it out then. But you're definitely going to want it to be firm. If you choose to try to roll out this dough when it's at room temperature, it's just going to require a lot of flour to roll out. So now I'm just going to show you what not to do with your dough. If you have children or you're an impatient person and you're wanting to get it done, I had just pulled this dough out of the refrigerator and I did not let it sit for 10 minutes to kind of warm up a little bit, 10, 20 minutes. So this is ice cold dough right from overnight sitting. And you're going to put it on your floured surface. And if it's too cold, it is just going to break apart and get very crumbly and just stick to everything. So do not do this. So I wanted to show you that if your dough is too cold, it's just going to separate and you're not going to be able to roll it out very well. So yeah, you're going to see here, it's just going to be thick. It's not going to roll well. It's going to break off on the sides. And then if you do get it rolled out, you're not going to be able to get it off of the table. So I'm just pulling the edges off. The kids are like, oh, let's try to put the the cutters on. So they put the cutters on, but as you can see, when they go to pull the cookies off, they are ripping apart and they're not coming off the table. So it's really important that you have your dough is warmed up just a tiny bit. So from that point, I just pulled everything off. I refloured the surface. The dough, now that it's been broken apart a bit, it's now not sticking to the table. It's rolling out so much easier and it's not breaking off at the edges. So you're just gonna roll out your dough to the thickness of your choice. The thicker it is, the longer it's going to need to bake. And you're not going to get the amount of cookies that you may want, and you may have to make another batch. But this is just one singular batch with the recipe that I have written out below. Now you can see one of those cookies were really, really thick. In my opinion, that is too thick. I tried to make mine, I don't know, I'm really bad with measurements, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick to 1/4 of an inch thick. But again, do what you want to do as far as the thickness of your cookies. The thicker they are, the longer it's going to take to bake. Now we're going to put them in the oven. We're going to set our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to bake for 7 to 10 minutes. They're going to puff up ever so slightly, and the edges should be golden brown. I don't have like super golden brown edges, but I know that they're done. I like to pull them off and onto my cold countertop, and they cool really quickly, which is great, because the kids are really excited to ice these cookies. They taste absolutely delicious just on their own if you don't want a super sweet cookie. So onto the frosting. I am using my erythritol Confectioners Sugar, and then the Watson's No Artificial Dye food coloring. I'm using plastic cups here and plastic spoons, so I could just have really quick cleanup. As a mom, I just want quick cleanup. So whatever's left, I just throw out. And so you're going to fill up your cups. I am using organic 50/50. You could also use heavy whipping cream. It's just going to be thicker. And with this white, I obviously put too much 50/50 in there, and I need to add a bit more. So if it's too soupy, you're not going to want that, but you're going to want it to be runny as well. So just play it by ear and make it the thickness that you feel comfortable with. With these particular dyes, because they are not traditional toxic food dye, they're not going to be very rich in color. So this is the red. I used about 6 drops, but it doesn't matter how many drops of the red you're using. It's always going to be a pink color. My kids don't care. The yellow is very vibrant. The green, again, if I wanted it to be a little bit more green, it would be, instead of this kind of a pastel green. But some of them are just going to be lighter and not the traditional colors that we're used to. But again, that doesn't bother me. So again, your kids or your grandkids, whoever you have in your life, let them decorate it. I personally feel that the cookies taste best with less frosting, but kids, they just absolutely love adding tons of frosting.
Okay, friends, so we just finished decorating our cookies, and a little advice. So if you are sugar addicted, if you are on a weight loss journey, but you want to do these traditions with your kids, with your grandkids, go for it. But what I'm going to do now that these cookies are completely dry is I'm going to put them on my tray. I'm going to decorate them. I'm going to cover them in plastic wrap, and I'm going to go put them in my garage, which is very, very cold this time of year. You can put them in the freezer. So they are just not easily accessible until Christmas Day when I go to bring them out, or if they're for a birthday party or whatever it is. And so if you know that you are not a moderator and then you are a binger, and having this close by is going to be a trigger for you, don't set yourself up for failure. Please put them in the freezer or whatever until they're ready to go. You can pull them out at room temperature and just let them just hang out on the counter, and they will be super soft and fresh, just like you pulled them out of the oven. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Comment below, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with a friend if you are wanting some epically awesome, keto-friendly, pesticide-free cookies for your events. Have a great day.